24 hours of nothing but net seems to always draw some of the best sports people around. And once again, Dave Doeren, the head football coach at North Carolina State University, has agreed to be with us once again this year. Coach, thank you so much for joining us on 24 Hours of Nothing But Net.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for having me again.
Well, I mean, you and I have so much in common we found over the years, not just our love for NC State, but three boys and one with
Yeah.
special needs. Tell us a little bit about your family first.
Yeah, they're getting older on me. It's crazy. I have two in college now. So Jacob, my oldest, is at Appalachian State, and then Luke, my middle son, is here at NC State, and then our youngest is a sophomore in high school. Sarah and I are going on year 24 as a married couple here, so going through that, and things are good. Just kind of quiet. Yeah, having one kid at home, and now they all drive, and yeah, it's a little different.
It's totally different. You have two college tuitions. I've got three, so I feel you right there. Wait till
Yeah,
you're ready to pay three tuitions. But
yeah,
Coach, just real quick, a couple of things about football because NC State is expected to have another great year, and it looks like you have put together the roster that can actually, take you to further heights than we've been at NC State. I don't want to get too excited or put too much pressure on you as an NC State fan, but kind of give us, how the spring game went and what your expectations are.
yeah. Well, we have high expectations. We were finished in the top 20 last year, returned quite a bit of that roster, and have a lot of experience. Have terrific quarterback in Devin Leary, one of the best in the country, coming back, and so anytime you have that kind of guy, at that position, it gives you a lot of hope. I think the way we played on defense with the number of players back, keeps us in every game, and having a QB like that can make huge throws and put you in a place where one possession games you feel pretty good. The tough thing is every team in the Atlantic Division returns their starting quarterback, so
Mm.
competition's going to be high. And as far as the pressure of it, I think our guys are excited, to have a bullseye on them, and look forward to the opportunity to go out there and not just improve where we were at, but live up to I guess the expectations people have.
Well, I know you don't know this, but I'm going to tell you this because, every year I get to find a way on my schedule to make it to an NC State football game because I think it's so much fun. I just love the outside the stadium activities that take place before.
Yeah,
But this year for the Clemson game, I was able to get a field pass. So I went down on the field before the game and I didn't want to run over to you and go, "Hey, Dave, Debbie, I'm out here," But it's fun being on the field. Like for someone like
yeah,
me who has been in competitive sport and works in the game of basketball, getting on the football field and watching the pregame organization and everything that you have to do, like I think people forget that it just looks so I want to say robotic like because you have so much organization out on the field. But just in your mind, what's the organization like for getting your team ready just pregame on the field?
well, first of all, you were at a great game, so you need to come back more. It was a heck of a win, a great environment, and a lot of energy, enthusiasm from our student section and fans. But it was a special night, and it's kind of ritualistic for pregame. Like for us, it's what we do, it's what we know. I'm kind of sleepwalk through it now as coaches because we've done it so many times. But for someone that hasn't been down there's 125 players and 70 some staff members on half of the football field, and a lot of things happen in that 25 minutes of warm-ups that you have. So just a lot of logistics. You have your individual, you have your warm-up routes and catching and things like that, and a few special time teams items, but just trying to get them warmed up and I guess as ready as you can without pushing them too hard because you don't want them to lose their energy in warm-ups.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I have to admit, and then you can't believe how big some of these guys are. I mean, they're huge. And
Yeah, they are.
you mentioned Devin Leary, just about his game and the way you've been able to navigate his future with this year's team coming up, and then what will be next for him. You've had a great run of really good quarterbacks that you've been able to produce through NC State. What's special about him?
Yeah, he's very special. He's super tough. First of all, I think he's got the ability to have a bad play and not let it get to him. He bounces back, really quick, and he's very steady. He's the same guy every day, which for me at that position is critical. You don't want a guy that's really up and down. He can throw a touchdown or throw a bad pass, and he looks pretty similar. In his facial expressions, he's very methodical. Does a nice job of not hurting the team. I think a lot of times quarterbacks can hurt the team as much as they can help the team with turnovers and bad ball placement, things like that. So, last year he has 35 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. So, like that kind of output without, the negative things, really help us and not make it harder to win than it really is.
I've learned from listening to you over the years about field position and why that's important. So I understand why you say that about him not putting you guys in bad situations by turning the ball over.
hmm
I want to shift gears a little bit to why you're here with us. I mean, 24 Hours of Nothing But Net is a Special Olympic fundraiser. I know that you care deeply about Special Olympics. Tell us why.
Early on with our first son, he was diagnosed with a genetic disorder that kind of put him on the autism spectrum. And so we were basically indoctrinated into that side of education early on. And he was like 3 years old. And I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of all of it. Moving, with young children, particularly in the special needs community, is very challenging, which we've had to do 3 or 4 times. And when we got here to Raleigh, just kind of found a very fast growing city that needed a lot of resources and a lot of help. So we started raising money for the Wake County school systems and the special needs programs at the middle school and elementary school levels, and did that until Jacob was into the high schools, and then partnered up with 321 Coffee, which is a community here that has now gone public, but at the time was nonprofit, was working just with special needs kids. They were hiring special needs kids only, and not just kids, people, into their coffee shop and training them and helping them learn how to not just have a job, but have a job they love and sustain that job and make an income. And they partnered with us. They've been in our building every Monday for 3 seasons, serving coffee to our staff, and now they have a company that's going public. So we've transitioned from them now to Gigi's Playhouse, which works with Down syndrome children. And they were a part of our spring game. If you saw that, we had a play where we ran and let them score a touchdown. But we partner with them during training camp too, on a night we call Victory Night, where they each get a score touchdown with our players. And really special. They come out on Fridays and hand out ice cream to the players during the season as well. So it's been our way of partnering with a group in this city that makes them feel special, and to be honest, makes us feel special having them around.
It's absolutely phenomenal. As parents of a child with special needs like you and I are, we know how important those opportunities are for our kids to be stimulated in other ways, not just the things that we do with them or what they get from school, but the outside opportunities that you have helped create. How do you think it affects your players?
I think the ability to serve others, as you know, yeah, you do it to help that person you're serving. But I think at the end of those opportunities, sometimes you might feel even better than they do. I think it's just, putting that good karma out there in the world, and knowing by helping someone that good things are going to come back to you. And it's the right thing to do, and I think ultimately that's something that our players take a lot of pride in.
Coach, I think your quiet demeanor in your philanthropic efforts are sort of under the radar, right? I mean, like, there's not a lot of talk about all these wonderful things that you are already doing around the NC State community. Do you think it should get more publicity? I mean, I hope we're going to help that effort, but because
Yeah.
we're mutually benefiting here, both you and I, from having our conversations, which I love. Um,
Yeah. Well, I think it's great if it does. I don't do these things to get pats on the back. I do them because it helps the community. And, if that helps NC State marketing it, obviously it would help Gigi's Playhouse, and it would help 321 and different organizations. But that's not my why. And that's, it's seeing the smiles on participants that do it with us and helping them financially with the money we can raise. So, yeah, I think just in general, this NC State doesn't get the credit and a lot of things that go on here. Being in a city that has three schools within 30 minutes, it's kind of hard to hog the limelight. So I think we get some notoriety, but not as much as maybe we would if we were the only school around.
As a leader and as someone who's responsible for communicating a vision all the time to your players, if you break it down and you put it in the IEP process that you and Sarah have gone through, and the processes that my husband Frank and I have gone through, and by the way, we're 30 years that we've been married with three boys.
Wow,
Um,
congrats.
I want to ask you, like, what do you extrapolate from all of your experience in leading that has helped you be able to lead in the special needs community?
Oh, that's a good question. More than anything, it's just I think we learn a lot by observing and being a part of this on the parental side. There was a lot of times you didn't feel supported, and then if you don't feel supported as a parent, you can only imagine what the students are feeling. And so we just felt like it was a way to use our platform to, I don't know, make life a little easier, not just for the students, but for the teachers by providing more resources, computer programs, computers, things like that. One year we bought like 13 laptops for one of the young, smaller schools here in the state that needed help. So it's just been about that. These kids, it's hard enough. It's really hard when they don't have resources that can kind of level the playing field for them.
Well, I appreciate so much all of your efforts and everything that you do. I want to ask you about the play call for the young man that had Down syndrome that scored a touchdown in the spring game. Well, what was
Yeah.
that? What was that formation? What was the play call on that?
Yeah, we got in the huddle and Devin just said, "Hey, I'm going to hand you the ball. You go to the right." And then, of course, when you snap it, the person just stands there because he's so nervous and excited all at the same time. But the players, I think they had four different participants that were with us, and a couple of them went out and played receiver. One of them was playing running back, and Devin did a really good job talking them through it. And I can't remember which offensive lineman, but one of our offensive linemen helped him into the end zone and then picked him up. So pretty neat, and I don't think we had a play call on it, but that whole event, Debbie, if you ever want to like seriously have a great night, find out when we're doing our victory day during our fall camp. And if you can come up here for it, it's one of the coolest nights that I've ever been a part of as a coach. It is awesome.
Well, I promise you, I'm going to do everything I can to be there, Coach, and I'm going to be standing right next to you when
Yeah.
you're sending all those young men and women into the end zone for touchdowns to celebrate with them. I'll be ready to do a victory dance. I'll come up with one just for you. I'll come up with a victory dance. How's that?
You should. There's a bunch of them, man. It's hilarious. The players are dancing, the kids are dancing. You walk off of that field feeling like $1,000,000 that night. Yeah. So it's usually one of the first couple weekends in August that we do it.
Well, I'll for sure be looking for it because I'm very excited about your football season. Just the last thing, Coach, if anyone is watching our live stream for 24 hours of Nothing But Net and has heard our interview and has listened to all the things that you're doing in the community. And by the way, we have added 6 other states to our effort, and North Carolina is one of the states. So any money that is raised through 24 hours of Nothing But Net that comes from the state of North Carolina on the webpage stays in the state of North Carolina. So what would you say to anyone listening that may consider giving?
I think this is an opportunity to put a gigantic smile on someone's face who has, in my opinion, a lot against them at times. And, things are challenging enough in this world. And to be, a benefactor of someone else's joy and happiness, this is a great way to do it. And you'll see probably the best picture of what happiness looks like when you see the smiles at Special Olympics, as those competitors compete and different activities that we get to do with Gigi's. It's very heartwarming, and the people that are a part of giving to those things know where I'm coming from with this. It's just in my time, it's hard to find a charity where you truly see the pleasure of the money, that's coming back through, the activities that they get to do.
Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough for your time during this busy time. I can't wait to meet your wife, Sarah. I know she's a rock star, and I
She
appreciate
is.
everything that you do to help us with our event, and anything we can do in return to help you. You know, we're right there. So go
Uh,
Pack.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time and appreciate what you're doing. Means a lot to us. And I know Sarah would feel the same way. She would look forward to meeting you if we get that opportunity. So have a great spring, Debbie, and good luck with the rest of this.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. We'll see you. Go Pack.